Oh, hello, great readers. I'm Belchan.
I'm Nim McCung.
I'm Ben Chan.
In this class, I'll read to all of you a part of Great Expectations.
S.
L.
Great Expectations. Charles Dickens. Chapter 21. Casting my eyes on Mr. as we went on, to see what he was like in the light of day, I found him to be a dry man, while short in stature, with a square wooden face. His expression seemed to have been imperfectly chipped out with a dull-edged chisel. There were some marks in it that might have been dimples, if the material had been softer and the instrument finer, but which, as it was, were only dints. The chisel had made 3 or 4 of these attempts at embellishment for his nose, but had given them up without an effort to smooth them off. I judged him to be a bachelor from the frayed condition of his linen, and he appeared to have sustained a good many bereavements, for he wore at least 4 mourning rings. On it, I noticed, too, that several rings and seals hung at his watch chain, as if he were quite laden with remembrances of departed friends. He had glittering small, thin, and black and thin white mottled lips. He had had them, to the best of my belief, from 40 to 50 years. So you were never in London before, said Mr. Womack to me. No, said I. I was new here once, said Mr. Womack. Why? Yes, said Mr. Womack. Is it a very wicked place? I asked. Or for the sake of saying something, then for information. You may get she did. Or I'm murdered in London. But there are plenty of people anywhere. If there is bad blood between you and them, said I, to soften it off a little. But I don't know about bad blood, returned Mr. Womack. There's not much bad blood about. They'll do it. You think so, returned Mr. Womack. Much about the same. He wore his hat on the back of his head, and looked straight before him. His attention was smiling, merely a mechanical appearance, and he was not smiling at all. Do you know where Mr. Matthew Pocket lives? I asked Mr. Womack. Yes, said he, nodding in the direction. At Hammersmith. Well, why? You're a regular cross-examiner, said Mr. Womack, looking at me with an approving air. Yes, I know him. Rather depressed me. Any encouraging note to the text? When he said here we were at Barnard's Inn, my depression was not alleviated by the announcement. For I had supposed that establishment to be an hotel kept by Mr. Barnard, to which the Blue Boar in our town was a mere public house, whereas I now found Barnard to be a disembodied spirit, or a fiction. Corner as a club for tomcats. We entered this haven through a wicket gate, me like a flat burying ground. I thought it had the most dismal trees in it, and the most dismal sparrows, and the most dismal cats, and the most dismal houses in number half a dozen or so that I had ever seen, were in every stage of dilapidated blind and curtain, crumpled floor pot, cracked glass, dusty decay, and miserable makeshift, while to let glared at me from empty rooms, as if no new wretches ever came there. Suicide of the present occupants in their unholy interment under the gravel. A frowsy morning of soot and smoke attired this foe on creation of Barnard, and it had strewn ashes on its head, and was undergoing penance and humiliation as a mere toll. This for my sense of sight, themselves fatally to my sense of smell, and moaned. So imperfect was this realization of the first of my great expectations, that I looked in dismay at Mr. Ornick. "Ah," said he, mistaking me. "The retirement reminds you of the country. To me to be slowly collapsing into sawdust. Top floor. Mr. Bucket. Done up. Was painted on the door, and there was a label on the letterbox. He hardly thought you'd come so soon, Mr. Womack explained. Done. Thank you, said I. As I keep the cash, Mr. Womack observed. We almost likely meet pretty often. I put out my hen, and Mr. Womack at first looked at it as if he thought I wanted something. Then he looked at me and said, correcting himself, to be sure. Yes. I was rather confused, thinking it must be out of the London fashion, but said yes. I have got so out of it, said Mr. Womack, I accept at last. Very glad, I'm sure, to make your acquaintance. When we had shaken hands and he was gone, I opened the staircase window and had nearly beheaded myself. For the lines had rotted away, and it came down like the guillotine. Happily it was so quick that I had not put my head out to this escape. Dirt. And just then dolefully looking out, saying to myself that London was decidedly overrated. Mr. Pocket. Chiners. Ideal shortly was not mine, for I had nearly maddened myself with looking out for half an hour, pin in the window, before I heard footsteps on the stairs. Gradually there arose before me the hat, a cloth, waistcoat, trousers, boots, of a member of society of about my own standing. He had a paper bag under each arm and a pottle of strawberries in one hand, and was out of breath. Wistu. Pih, said he. Wistu. Pocket, said I. Dear me, he exclaimed. I am extremely sorry, but I knew there was a coach from your part of the country every day, and I thought you would come by that one. The fact is, I have been out on your account, and not that that is any excuse for I thought, coming from the country, you might take a little fruit after dinner, for a reason that I had. I felt as if my eyes would start out of my head, I acknowledged his attention incoherently and began to think this was a dream. "Dear me," said Mr. Bucket. Junior. The paper bags were under his arms. I begged him to allow me to hold them. He relinquished them with an agreeable smile, and combated with the door as if it were a wild beast. It yielded so suddenly at last that he staggered back upon me, and I staggered back upon the opposite door, and we both laughed. But still I felt as if my eyes must start out of my head, and as if this must be a dream. "Pray come in," said Mr. Bucket. "Junior, allow me to lead the way. I am rather bare here, but I hope you will be able to make out tolerably well till Monday. And I might like to take a walk about London. I am sure I shall be very happy to show London to you. As to our table, you won't find that bad. I hoped, for it will be supplied from our coffee house here, and it is only right I should add at your expense. Such be Mr. Jaggers's directions. As to our lodging, it's not by any means splendid, because I have my own bread to earn, and my father hasn't anything to give me, and I shouldn't be willing to take it if he had. This is our sitting room, just such chairs and tables and carpet and so forth. You see, as they could spare from home. You mustn't give me credit for the tablecloth and spoons and custers, because they come for you from the coffee house. This is my little bedroom, rather musty, but Barnard's is musty. This is your bedroom. The furniture is hired for the occasion, but I trust it will answer the purpose. If you should want anything, I'll go and fetch it. The chambers are retired, and we shall be alone together. But we shan't fight, I dare say. But dear me, I beg your pardon. You're holding the fruit all this time. Pray let me take these bags from you. As I stood opposite to Mr. Bucket, Junior, delivering him the bags. 1, 2, and mine. And he said, falling back, "Bless me." "And you," said I. "To be continued."